English learners. Welcome back to Learning, your cozy little corner of the internet where we learn real English together, one easy conversation at a time. I'm Maya, and I have David here with me today. Welcome back, David.
Always a pleasure, Maya. And I have a feeling today's topic is going to be a good one.
It's a very good one. Today, we are talking about travel and holidays, and all the beautiful natural English that lives inside those conversations.
Because travel conversations are everywhere in English. Before a trip, where are you going? How long for? What are you most excited about? During a trip, how is it? What have you done? Have you tried the food? After a trip, how was it? What was the highlight? Would you go back?
And yet most English learners are stuck with, it was good, it was nice, I liked it. And that's it. The conversation dies right there.
Which is such a missed opportunity. Because travel stories are some of the richest, most interesting conversations you can have in English. People light up when they talk about travel. They get nostalgic. They get excited. They have opinions. They want to share.
And today we're going to give you all the vocabulary and phrases to fully participate in those conversations, to share your own travel stories with real colour and detail, to ask about someone else's trip in a way that opens a real conversation, and to describe the full experience, not just the facts but the feeling.
Maya and I are going to have real, natural travel conversations throughout this episode, the kind you'd actually hear between two people, and we'll stop and explain the most useful language as we go.
And at the end, our word tour, our slow walk through today's most useful travel words and phrases so they stay with you.
This is a B1 level episode, perfect for intermediate learners. If you're A2, stay with us. You'll catch more than you think. And the second listen always feels clearer.
Before we dive in, if learning is helping your English, please like this episode and subscribe to the channel. Every like, every subscribe, every share brings more learners into our Learning family. And we both love reading your comments. Come say hello after you listen. Okay, David, I have to ask, what is the best trip you have ever taken?
Oh, that's not a small question.
I know. Take your time.
Okay, I think, and I've thought about this seriously. It was a trip I took to Japan about 6 years ago. I went completely on a whim, actually. A friend called me on a Thursday and said, I have a spare ticket to Tokyo. Can you come next week? And I said yes before I even thought about it.
I love that. A completely spontaneous trip.
Completely. No planning, no research, no itinerary. We just went. And I don't even know how to describe it. It was unlike anything I'd ever experienced. The contrast between the incredible modernity and these ancient temples sitting quietly in the middle of everything. The food was extraordinary. The people were so warm. I was completely out of my comfort zone, and I loved every second of it.
Did you have any idea what to expect before you went?
None whatsoever, which I think made it even better. Sometimes the trips you plan least are the ones that stay with you most. What about you? What's your best trip?
For me, it's harder to choose because I travelled a lot growing up. My family moved around quite a bit. But if I have to choose one trip that really stayed with me, it was a road trip I did with two friends along the coast of Morocco. We drove for 10 days. No fixed plan. We'd stop when something looked interesting. Stay somewhere for a night or two and then move on.
That sounds incredible.
It was. There's something about a road trip that feels so free. You're not tied to a schedule, you're not rushing from one landmark to the next. You just go at your own pace and see what you find. And what we found was extraordinary little fishing villages, markets, these incredible stretches of coastline with nobody else around.
That phrase, go at your own pace, is so useful. Let's talk about that one.
Yes, to go at your own pace means to travel or do something according to your own schedule and speed, without pressure, without rushing, without comparing yourself to what other travellers are doing. We went at our own pace, and it made all the difference. I love travelling at my own pace, no tour groups, no fixed schedules.
And tied to a schedule, this means being restricted or constrained by fixed times and plans. When you're not tied to a schedule, you have freedom. When you are tied to a schedule, you have to be somewhere at a specific time, no matter what. I don't like being tied to a schedule when I travel. I want to explore freely. Package holidays can feel too tied to a schedule for some people.
Let's talk about the different ways people travel. Because there are so many, and each one has its own vocabulary in English.
Backpacking. Traveling light, often on a budget. Staying in hostels. Moving frequently. Meeting other travelers. Very independent. I went backpacking through Southeast Asia for 3 months when I was 24. Backpacking teaches you to be flexible and comfortable with uncertainty.
Package holiday, everything included. Flights, hotel, sometimes meals. Very organized, very convenient, very relaxed. Less adventurous, but sometimes exactly what you need. After a stressful year, sometimes a package holiday is perfect. You don't have to think about anything. She booked a package holiday to the Canary Islands, 2 weeks of doing absolutely nothing.
City break, a short trip, usually 2 to 4 days, to a specific city. Very popular in Europe. Quick, focused, intense. We did a city break to Amsterdam for the weekend. A 3-day city break to Prague, saw everything we wanted, came home refreshed.
Road trip traveling by car, often with a flexible route, stopping wherever looks interesting. The ultimate freedom travel. We did an incredible road trip through the Scottish Highlands. Road trips are all about the journey, not the destination.
Solo travel, traveling alone. Increasingly popular and incredibly rewarding, but not without its challenges. I did my first solo trip last year, and it changed how I see myself. Solo travel forces you to trust yourself completely.
Now, let's talk about describing a destination. Because saying it was nice is not enough. How do you really bring a place to life in English?
The place had this incredible energy. I could feel it the moment I arrived. It was unlike anywhere I'd been before. There was this quality of light in the afternoon that I've never seen anywhere else. The streets had so much character. Every corner had a story. It felt completely authentic, not touristy at all. It had this magical quality that I really struggle to put into words.
I could feel it the moment I arrived. This is such a vivid and natural expression. It means you sense the atmosphere of a place immediately, instinctively, before you'd even had time to look around properly. I could feel the energy of the city the moment I arrived. She said she could feel something special about the place the moment she stepped off the train.
And touristy, this is a really useful word. Touristy means a place or experience designed primarily for tourists, rather than reflecting authentic local life. Overly commercial, crowded with visitors, lacking genuine character. The main square was very touristy, all souvenir shops and overpriced cafes. We tried to stay away from the touristy areas and explore the neighborhoods where people actually live.
Now let's talk about the things that can go wrong when you travel. Because difficult travel experiences make excellent English conversation material, and knowing the vocabulary for problems is just as important as knowing the vocabulary for perfect moments.
Our flight got delayed by 6 hours. We were stuck in the airport all day. The hotel wasn't what we expected. The photos were very misleading. We got completely lost, which was actually the best thing that happened to us. My bag was lost in transit. It arrived 2 days later. The weather was terrible the entire week. It rained every single day. We missed our connection and had to spend the night in the airport.
Misleading, this is a really important word for travel. If something is misleading, it gives a false impression. The information or photos made you expect something different from reality. The hotel photos were very misleading. It looked much nicer online. The reviews were misleading. They must have been written by different people.
Lost in transit when your luggage doesn't arrive at your destination and is somewhere in the transport system. It happens more than you think, and it's a horrible feeling. My suitcase was lost in transit, and I spent the first 3 days of the holiday buying new things. She arrived, but her luggage was lost in transit. It took 4 days to find it.
And missed our connection. When you miss the second flight or train because the first one was late or delayed. One of the most stressful travel experiences possible. We missed our connection in Dubai and had to wait 8 hours for the next flight. If the first flight is delayed, you risk missing your connection.
Let's now talk about what people say about their trips after they get back. Because this is probably the most common travel conversation in everyday English. Someone comes back from holiday and you want to ask about it, or you've just come back and people are asking you,
How was it? The most common opener. Tell me everything I want to hear, all about it. What was the highlight for you? Did it live up to your expectations? Would you go back? What surprised you most? Was there anything you wish you'd done differently? What's the one thing you'd tell someone who was planning to go?
Did it live up to your expectations? This is such a natural and interesting question. It asks whether the reality matched what you imagined or hoped for beforehand. Did Japan live up to your expectations? Did it live up to the hype? Sometimes places exceed your expectations. They're even better than you imagined. Sometimes they disappoint. They don't quite match what you built up in your mind.
And what surprised you most? This is a great question because it invites a specific, personal, genuine answer rather than a general overview. What surprised me most was how quiet and peaceful it was. I expected something much more chaotic. What surprised me most was how friendly everyone was. Completely disarmed me.
Let's have one more natural conversation this time about planning a trip, because this is another very common travel conversation situation.
David, I'm thinking about going somewhere new this summer. I'm completely torn about where to go.
Oh, how exciting. What are you torn between?
Either somewhere completely new, I've been thinking about Georgia actually, the country, or going back somewhere I love. I had an incredible trip to Lisbon a few years ago, and I've been wanting to go back.
I'd say go somewhere new. You can always go back to Lisbon. Georgia is supposed to be extraordinary. I've heard it's completely off the beaten track compared to the more obvious European destinations.
That's exactly what draws me to it. I love places that feel undiscovered, less touristy, more authentic.
What kind of trip are you thinking? A city break or something more adventurous?
Probably a mix. A few days in Tbilisi, and then maybe get out into the countryside. I like having a base, but also exploring beyond it.
That sounds perfect. Are you going solo or with someone?
Probably solo, actually. I've been wanting to do a proper solo trip for a while. Push myself a little.
You'll love it. Solo travel changes you. There's something about having to navigate everything yourself. The decisions, the unexpected moments, the moments of being completely alone, somewhere beautiful. It teaches you things about yourself that nothing else quite does.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, you've convinced me. Georgia, it is.
Let's look at what happened in that conversation. Off the beaten track, this is a really important travel expression. It means somewhere that is not the typical tourist route, somewhere less known, less visited, more authentic. We found this village completely off the beaten track, no tourists, completely unspoiled. She loves traveling off the beaten track, avoiding the obvious destinations.
And undiscovered, this means a place that hasn't yet been widely found by tourists. Still authentic, still at its own pace, not yet overrun. Georgia feels wonderfully undiscovered compared to Western European destinations. There are still so many undiscovered places in the world if you're willing to look for them.
Before Word Tour, your mission for today. Think about a trip you have taken anywhere. Near or far, recent or long ago, big adventure or quiet weekend away. Write 4 sentences about it in English. Where did you go? What was the highlight? What surprised you? Would you go back? Post them in the comments. We both genuinely love reading travel stories.
All right. Time for Word Tour, our slow vocabulary walk through today's most useful travel words and phrases here on Learning.
Take your time. Repeat after me if you can. Say them out loud.
First phrase, on a whim. To do something on a whim means to do it spontaneously, without planning. without thinking about it too much. I booked the trip completely on a whim, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. She quit her job and moved abroad on a whim and never regretted it. On a whim. On a whim.
Next phrase. Go at your own pace. This means to travel or do something according to your own schedule and speed without pressure or rushing. We went at our own pace and it was the most relaxed holiday I've ever had. I love traveling at my own pace. No tour groups, no fixed schedule. Go at your own pace. Go at your own pace.
Next word, touristy. Touristy describes a place or experience designed primarily for tourists' commercial, crowded, lacking authentic local character. We avoided the touristy areas and found much more interesting neighborhoods. The main strip was very touristy. We only spent one afternoon there. Touristy. Touristy.
Next phrase. Off the beaten track. This means somewhere not on the typical tourist route. Less known, less visited, more authentic. We spent the second week completely off the beaten track. No other tourists anywhere. She loves finding places off the beaten track. Off the beaten track. Off the beaten track.
Next phrase, live up to your expectations. This means to match or fulfill what you hoped or imagined beforehand. Did it live up to your expectations? It completely exceeded my expectations. It was even better than I'd imagined. Live up to your expectations. Live up to your expectations.
Next word, misleading. If something is misleading, it gives a false impression, makes you expect something different from reality. The hotel description was very misleading, nothing like the photos. Misleading reviews are one of the most frustrating parts of travel planning. Misleading. Misleading.
Next phrase, lost in transit. When your luggage doesn't arrive with you because it got separated somewhere in the transport system. My bag was lost in transit and took 3 days to arrive. Lost in transit is every traveler's nightmare. Lost in transit, lost in transit.
Next phrase, missed our connection. When you miss your second flight or train because your first one was delayed or late, we missed our connection in Frankfurt and had to rebook everything. If you have a tight connection and the first flight is delayed, you risk missing your connection. Missed our connection. Missed our connection.
Next phrase, I could feel it the moment I arrived. This means you sense the atmosphere or energy of a place immediately and instinctively. I could feel the magic of the city the moment I arrived. She said she could feel something special about the place the moment she stepped off the plane. I could feel it the moment I arrived. I could feel it the moment I arrived.
Last word, undiscovered. A place that hasn't yet been widely found or visited by tourists, still authentic and unspoiled. There are still so many undiscovered corners of the world waiting to be found. It felt wonderfully undiscovered, like we had found something few others knew about. Undiscovered. Undiscovered.
Those are your 10 travel phrases for today, here on Learning. On a whim. Go at your own pace. Touristy. Off the beaten track. Live up to your expectations. Misleading. Lost in transit. Missed our connection. I could feel it the moment I arrived. Undiscovered.
Pick 2. Use them this week in a conversation, in a message, in a travel story you tell someone. That's how they become yours.
And here we are at the end of another Learning episode together. David, any final thoughts?
Just one. Travel. Even small travel. Even a day trip somewhere new. Changes your perspective. It shows you that the world is bigger and more varied and more interesting than your daily routine suggests. And being able to talk about those experiences in English, really talk about them, with color and detail and feeling, means you can share that perspective with a much wider world. And that's a beautiful thing.
Beautifully said. Your mission, 4 sentences about a trip you've taken. Post them in the comments. We are both reading every single one. And tell us, where in the world are you listening from right now? And is there somewhere you're dreaming of going?
We'd love to know.
If today's episode helped your English, please like this video, subscribe to LearnEng, and share it with one friend who loves travel and is learning English. Because this episode was made for them.
I'm David.
And I'm Maya. This has been LearnEng, your cozy place to learn real English, one conversation at a time. We'll see you in the next episode.
Travel well.
Speak well. Bye for now.